Because if you have limiting beliefs that are in your subconscious mind, which is the part of the mind that is ultimately running the show. I mean, most of our decisions that we make, we think that we're making them consciously, logically, rationally, just like thinking through equations, getting information, reading about things, blah, 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 blah. But all of that is just to ultimately justify decisions that we've actually already made.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sound Bombing. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star of the show,
Lamar Darnell Shields.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time of the day it is. You are with me, your friend, your guy, your man, Dr. Lamar Darnell Shields, and I am the creator of Sound Bombing. And my goal with this show is to introduce you to people with ideas that will help you unlock your full potential. Did you know you have the power to manifest your life desire? Let me say it again. Did you know that you have the power to manifest your life's desire, whether it's a dream career, like becoming a coach, a health coach, an athlete, a singer, a dancer, a writer, an author, a dream home in your favorite place on earth, your dream body, a dreamy relationship, and even a dreamier bank account, or maybe a dreamsicle. Y'all remember those? Whatever it is, you have the ability to create the life of your dreams. Awesome, you may be thinking. But Lamar, Dr. Shields, whatever your name is, how exactly do I manifest my desires? I am so glad that you asked me that, because my next guest, Victoria M. Gallagher, got to say the M, is a worldwide leader in hypnotherapy, a best-selling author, international speaker, life success coach, renowned author on the law of attraction. She has dedicated her life to empowering people all over the world to successfully live a life of liberty, aligned with their dreams through her effective meditative recordings and online courses, through her podcast and her latest book, The Power of Your Mind, and her many, many books. She exudes her passion for inspiring listeners with influential guests in the areas of self-development, mindset, discipline and habits, entrepreneurship, wealth, and relationship. Now, you at the right place at the right time. So come in close as I introduce my friend, Victoria M. Gallagher. Victoria, welcome to Sound Bombing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Shields, Lamar Shields, however you like to be called. This is really an honor and a privilege to be a guest on your show. And I look forward to inspiring your audience and teaching them how to manifest their desires.
Well, let's hear some manifestations now. How are you doing? And let my listeners know where you are calling in from.
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. I am in sunny, beautiful Arizona state. I'm in Phoenix and sitting in my beautiful dream home. It was fun listening to the list of all the things you said that you can manifest this and you can manifest that. And I'm like, check, check, check. Been there, done that.
Well, we want to help our people do some checklists as well. I was just in Arizona in August. Love Arizona. Went to Sedona, went hiking, flew into Phoenix, went just all over the Red Rocks. I love that place. So that's a great place to manifest some dreams. Well, speaking of manifestation, that, Victoria, has become nothing short of a buzzword in recent years. But explain to my listeners what actually it is, and then how can you get started using it to attract what you want in your life?
Well, thank you for asking that. And it's interesting how it has become a buzzword, because as somebody, I'm a little bit maybe of a natural manifester, as I hear you saying that, because I stepped into this whole world of manifestation long before it became a buzzword. So luckily, I am in the right place in the right time to help people to really understand what it is, how it works, and why maybe it's not working. I think that's one of the reasons why I started really wanting to teach people about it, is because, I have been using manifestation my whole life, well before before The Secret came out. And The Secret, really, the movie The Secret, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a good movie. It's a feel-good movie. It opens your mind up to this understanding that we're powerful beyond our imagination. But, it leaves out a lot of the how-to. And so a lot of the, things that they show you is like, all you really have to do is close your eyes and imagine what you want. And then a Ferrari is going to show up on your front doorstep the next day. And it doesn't quite work like that. And so, I have been, spending my life really manifesting things, but not really having like, well, what is the exact formula that I've been tapping into? What is it that I've been doing? And so I really began to sit down and think about and pull from myself, like, well, what are all the aspects that you need to have in place? And I came up with these 8 manifesting conditions that.
All right, I'm ready. Let me get my pen. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. So if you really read through this book, you will completely understand without a shadow of a doubt that manifesting does exist, that it is possible, that it's not just possible for some people, but it's possible for everyone, because it just makes so much sense. And there's not any like magical airy-fairy BS that a lot of people want to, talk about. It's about really having, number one, starting with a very specific desire and getting very clear about what it is that you want. One of the downfalls to people is they want a lot of things. It's like, well, I want a car, I want a house, I want a relationship, I want a business, I want $1 million in the bank, I want a dream body, I want all these things. And it's not that you can't have all these things, but if you try to focus on too many things at the same time, then you're not focusing on anything at all. And so having a clear desire and, something that you can believe that you can manifest, because it's, believe is one of the manifesting conditions, getting that into, and you may not necessarily have the belief system that is going to bring that in. But if you can believe that it is possible for you, then you can create the belief system. So once you have that desire, the next thing that you want to do is you want to align, number 2 is your thoughts. You want to get your thinking more in alignment with what it is that you do want rather than what you don't want. And so many people are, constantly, and you know what? I'm guilty of it too. Everybody is. This is a constant like work in progress, work in motion, because when you manifest certain things like I have done, then you're at the next level. And then even at higher and higher levels, you don't have those things yet. So you're going to go through the process of like, well, what is it? What am I thinking about this that's pushing it away from me rather than drawing it more toward me? Like, for example, I've been in the middle. A lot of people know that have been listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast. They've been listening to me talking about and complaining about my app developers, and it's like, I made this move into creating this new app. And, I kind of ended up manifesting or attracting people to me that, are just not at my level of professionalism, if you would, and so, so it's like, that has been a challenge for me. Like, that's one of the things that I need to do instead of looking at this app and going, oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. I hate this. I hate doing this. What I really need to be doing, just as an example, is looking past that and looking at the vision and looking at where we're going, looking at what is right, being grateful that I even have people right now that are in the process of developing, looking at my existing users from my other app and being grateful for them, and looking at, oh, wow, I have this and I have this and I have this, and this is amazing. And this is getting done. I just need to be a little bit more patient with it. And so, just turning those complaints around and taking that and turning that into, what do I want to happen? What is my preference around getting this accomplished? So it's thoughts. The next piece of this is, it's really about visualizing and imagining and using your imagination to create the scenarios that you really do want. Again, it's kind of like countering, well, are you imagining the worst, or are you imagining the best? So what are you really putting your focus on? But in the area of what are you imagining, and tapping into your imagination to help provide you with more answers to the how, to the specific circumstances, the specific people that may come into your awareness to help you with these things. So I'll kind of speed through, the next few aspects of it. But visualization and imagination was number 3. Number 4 is the belief. Having the belief, the expectation that it's actually going to happen, because you usually get whatever you expect. And so if you're expecting the worst, you're going to get the worst. If you're expecting the best, you're going to get the best. And we got to work through some limiting beliefs that a lot of people, have. They have, beliefs about how much money they can make, what kind of people there are in the world, what kind of person they are. And then we get into our number 5, we get into our feelings and our vibration. Because everything, the world works as an energy, as a vibration. Everything is vibrating and everything is operating at a different frequency. So if you want to, draw something into your life, you have to align yourself with the frequency that is at. You have to become the person who does the things, that says the things, that feels the things, that believes the things, that has the motivation, that takes the actions, that no longer tolerates what you were putting up with. You have to become that person. And sometimes that does require just kind of like even setting your ego aside, that you think that everything there is to know about a situation. So then the next step, this is the only sort of like, it's a little bit harder to explain, but it's the sixth manifesting condition is called creative attraction. And that's where we are tapping into something that's bigger and greater than ourselves. Some people might call it universal intelligence. Some people might call it infinite intelligence. Some people might call it spirit or source or God. But it is this earth and this whole universe was created by something bigger than us. So what is that? And, is it organized? Of course it's organized. How do you think this whole bodily thing functions so perfectly? How do you think this, the stars and the moon and the sun are just so perfectly in alignment? It's that place that has the intelligence, and we all are contributing to that mass consciousness at all times. We're all contributing to it, and we're all receiving from it. And so from that is where we are able to get ideas, get inspiration, and get, tap into intuitive guidance to help us take our next step. And then finally, but the second to the last is you have your inspired action. So taking, of course, nothing's going to happen without you actually taking that inspired action. But inspired versus forced. I mean, there's like things you think, I have to do this. I have to, it's going to be this drudgery. It's going to be this, hard thing. And it doesn't have to be hard. It could be fun. It can be enjoyable. It can be, you should be doing something that you absolutely love doing along the way to manifesting whatever it is. Like if you don't like sports and, you think that going and watching golf or football or whatever is the way you're going to attract a man, guess what you're going to be doing the rest of your life? Hanging out with somebody who likes golf and football. And, and so you have to be authentic and do the things that are inspiring. And I swear, every single time I ever met the man of my dreams, and, each time it's gotten better and better. This is the last man of my dreams, of course, the one I've been married to for the last, 14 years, been together with for 18. I met him in a very inspired moment in my life where, I was just doing stuff, singing and enjoying myself. And he came into my life. And so it ended, and it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with anything, it's taking those inspired actions versus the forced actions. And then the final thing is just the manifestation itself, what you do with that, acknowledging that, celebrating that, having the gratitude for that, owning that, taking responsibility that whatever it is that's in your life, whatever's showing up in your life, positive or negative, I'm responsible. I've created this. And so that's in a nutshell, the 8 manifesting conditions. I get really excited about talking about these.
No, I appreciate your excitement. So my question then is, what is the correlation between manifestation and one's mindset?
They're very much, you need a positive mindset in order to manifest the positive things. And a negative mindset is going to manifest negative things. So they work together. Manifestation is essentially just the result, that you're, it's what you've created. And the mindset is absolutely part of why you get the results that you do.
Mm-hmm. Well, there, out of the 8 things that you listed, one of the things that stood out to me is belief. Mm-hmm. I believe is our mind is our most powerful asset as far as shaping our behavior. It'll take action and engagement, but if we harbor certain beliefs about how we're going to approach something, it'll certainly affect how we behave. Do you agree with that?
It's okay. So these 8 manifesting conditions, please understand, this is kind of like I have 8 children, mm-hmm. And you're trying to kind of place more importance or bigger priority mm-hmm. on one. You need all 8, right? Mm. But you do need all 8. However, I cannot argue with you in that the belief really is kind of like the one that I tend to lean toward as far as, number one, it's the biggest barrier. Because if you have limiting beliefs that are in your subconscious mind, which is the part of the mind that is ultimately running the show. I mean, most of our decisions that we make, we think that we're making them consciously, logically, rationally, just like thinking through equations, getting information, reading about things, blah, 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 blah. But all of that is just to ultimately justify decisions that we've actually already made with our subconscious mind, unknowingly, but beneath the surface. So unless we deal with the contradictory beliefs that we have that are in contrast to our goals, because if we had the belief, we'd pretty much already have the goal. Mm-hmm. And so whatever you see in your reality is generally matching your belief system. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely do wholeheartedly agree with you. I just don't like to say that, you have to have the clear desire. You have to have if you want to change what you're manifesting, because you're manifesting already. And so that's the other thing too, is like everything, in our life is a manifestation. I mean, where you're sitting right now, in that gorgeous studio behind you, you manifested that. And, like it or not, obviously you must like it. So that's something you put out there, you went through the steps unknowingly. If you really thought about it, you had a clear desire, you got your thoughts in alignment, you visualized it, you have the belief that you could do it. You have the feeling, the vibrations in alignment, everything. You took action, obviously. Maybe at some point, you didn't know exactly how everything was going to come together, but as you were, getting in alignment with it, you got some ideas that kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it all, so you went through those steps, and if we break it down, we go through those steps with everything, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing, so all the negative things, we've also gone through that step too. Maybe we didn't desire it, but we feared it. We didn't like it. We didn't want it. And because we focused on it so much, oh, I hate it when this happens. This always happens. I hate it when this, this seems to why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep happening? Well, it keeps happening because that's what we expect is going to happen.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. I'm in a research world quite a bit, and quite often, if you're around researchers or scientists, there's this battle back and forth with it when you talk about belief, the law of attraction or law of manifestation. But when I started listening to Joe Dispenza, and I don't know if you're familiar with Joe Dispenza's work, and I can't
very much, I love him.
Imagine you not being a fan of Joe when he talks about it. If what he discovered from his research, if the body can make you sick, then your body it can make you well. And if there's some evidence that thinking positively really can be beneficial. I know in 2017 there was a study looking at, I think, over 70,000 women over an 8-year period, found that those who had higher levels of optimism were less likely to die of major causes such as cancer, heart disease, stroke. And then what they discovered, the research said, that positivity can build some level of resistance, which can in turn help you live longer and healthier. If we know that there's research out there, then why aren't people able to shift their minds so quickly? Why do they stay being stuck?
That's a really, really good question, because you're right. The research is out there. I just don't think that the research has gotten into the right hands. And,
good point.
Yeah. And so, people, kind of the law of attraction is you get what you focus on. And so if you're focused on that, when people turn 50, they typically, get these ailments and these aches and pains and all these things happen. And that's just what happened. I mean, how many times have you heard like that just happens when you get old?
Yeah. So as a runner, let me stop you there. So I was supposed to run a marathon a day before the marathon. My left leg, Victoria, was like, yes, we're doing this. My right leg was like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm not going anywhere. And so people's like, oh, you're getting older. And I don't subscribe to that. Like age, when they say the song age is nothing but a number, I don't really get caught up in that when people say, yeah, when in my 20s and my 30s. And I also understand as a researcher, there are layers as a teacher, like in 4th grade, you should do this, 5th grade, you should do that. But again, when you put those ceilings on individuals, they sort of stay there. They stay there. And so I'm like you, when people are like, oh, yeah, and we know certain, but the reality is we need to sort of teach people to shift their mind. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, a great African-American scholar, who talked about, he wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro years and years ago about how, African Americans had to go to the black back door. And he said, if you shift your mind, your behind will follow. And I'm paraphrasing that, but the reality is if you do shift your mind, your behind will go in a different direction. But what I'm discovering, so many people get stuck. So many people get caught up in their story. I love the great scholar, Chimanja, who comes out of Nigeria, talk about the danger of a single story, getting stuck in your story and how it's important for us to change our story. And you talked about, you said, yeah, but I'm thinking about this, but then I get that, because you're really thinking about the opposite. There's a gospel song out that says, don't pray and worry. Like you can't do both of those things. You got to decide what you want to do. But, how did you, Victoria, get unstuck, and how do you continuously stay unstuck? Because again, even though you manifest something and we get excited about these things. But I like the word enthusiasm instead of excitement because it comes from a Greek word which means possessed by. Some people say by in God or being in tune. But then how do you sort of maintain that enthusiasm as you're living your life?
That's a really good question. And that's actually come up as a question for me. I mean, my enthusiasm, I just see the vision. Like there's a vision there. I know I'm getting there. I know nothing is getting in my way. And I know I will achieve it. I mean, I know that there's no reason to give up. Like I can't even imagine giving up. And, I've run marathons, so I can relate to the marathon story. I know women, but I've heard of, women in their 70s or maybe even men too, in their 70s, running marathons. Even I think there was a 100-year-old woman who ran a marathon. So I don't buy into that. And I think where I got my positive mindset is, I grew up in a like we all had our bad childhoods. Like I don't think anyone escapes being, having that dysfunction in their childhood.
We're seeing that with everybody. We're seeing that with rich folks, poor folks. We're seeing that with people who are celebrities, not celebrities. That we all have had our level of challenges that has manifested.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm not special. I don't think anybody, everybody's had their level of dysfunction, but for whatever reason, I believe, I was just kind of given with this gift of insight to see what was going on around me and know that like whatever is happening right now, this is a gift and I'm going to rise above it. Because, I grew up with, alcoholics, drug addicts, high school dropouts, obesity, smoking, and I got some of those habits as well, like the smoking. But other ones, I saw my future in front of me if I went in that direction. So I just ran the other way. And my mom, when I was 18, she gave me this book called Total Self-Confidence. And this book, it was written by Dr. Robert Anthony, and it was the very first real exposure to any of this kind of work. I was 18 years old. And it actually went through. I mean, it was just so enlightening because it really taught me. It's like you really can create the life of your dreams. You can do anything. And, it had you writing your vision, and it had you taking these small steps toward your goals and breaking your goals down. And it had a little self-hypnosis. I don't even know if it said the words law of attraction, but that was really my first introduction to this concept that there was something that I could do about my life, and that I'm responsible for my life. And he taught all of these lessons in there, and I just never really forgot them. I mean, did I completely stick with it from age 18 all the way to the age I am now? No, I had but you had a
foundation. You had a foundation of those things.
I did. And it was just this book, that was sort of the way my mom taught me. She was a little bit of an absent person, but so I learned to be very independent as well, because I didn't really have my dad there giving me things, and I didn't have my mom there, to like sit down and teach me, about these things. I learned them all myself. I took it upon myself, and that's worked for me, and it's also worked against me because it's also very hard for me. I probably could be even further along to this day if I didn't have these deep seated beliefs inside of me that you got to do everything yourself. And so I have a tendency sometimes to overwork and work too hard, because that's what I saw growing up in my family is like hard. Everybody's working hard. Nobody has any free time for anything. And guess what? I kind of do the same, but at least I chose pretty early on, when I was a stockbroker. And I felt it inside, after being successful, having success at this for, a good half a dozen years or so, I just was dying inside because I just felt like something's just off here. I don't know what it is. And then that's when I turned to, back to personal development and got myself like back on track. And I realized, oh, this is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to do. So, when I say I work hard, I mean, work hard, like writing books and marketing and being on podcasts and having other people on podcasts and creating massive amounts of content and training people. And, so it's a lot of hours that I work, but I love it. And I get a lot of satisfaction and enjoyment out of it. And
so as someone who's constantly pouring into others, how do you then pour into yourself? What are some of the things that you do for yourself? Because I am a giver like you. I'm constantly going and moving and moving and moving. And so quite often people don't think that I take the time for myself, but quite often I do. I'm a huge meditator. My rituals are very important to me in the morning and in the evening, and also in between fitness. Someone as busy as you that's writing these books, that's constantly pouring into others. What are some things that you're doing to take care of yourself?
Yeah. And I'm like you. I'm very much like you. So thanks for bringing that up, because I am very selfish about my, my me time. And, I'm very fortunate to have all these beautiful rooms in this house to spread out and work all day long. But in the morning, between like 5 and 8, that is my, I'm sitting down to meditate. I am doing my self-hypnosis. I'm doing my reading, and I'm doing my journaling. And I just love having, I enjoy my coffee right after my, my meditation and my hypnosis while I'm reading and doing my journaling. I just love the slow movement in the morning, and just kind of letting myself do my thing. At least once a day. Sometimes it's evening, sometimes it's in the morning. But at least once a day, I either, go for a run or a walk, or I recently joined Orange Theory, which I'm really enjoying that. And, so I take at least an hour a day to do some kind of activity. And, that's one of the things too, I really feel contributes to your mindset and to your vibration is, when you, even like yesterday, it was like it had been, the gym was closed for remodeling for a week. And so it was a little bit like, you take a break for a whole week away from this place. And it's like, I'm not sure if I want, but I go and I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. I'm so glad I went, and you're just really, really enjoying it. But so I really do feel like activity and getting your heart going at a certain level is so good for raising your vibration. It is, but when you're not moving, if you really think about what the vibration is, it's energy in motion. And so if you're not like actually physically moving the energy and it gets stuck in your body, then you're going to be in a low vibration physically and in every way. And so I feel like all of these things are super key to taking care of yourself. And I don't care if you don't have time for a 3 or 4 hour me time, take 20 minutes, take 5 minutes, everybody has time if you make it a priority.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. People always say that I don't have enough time. We're not as special as we think we are. And we all get 24 hours out of the day. And time doesn't fly. We just waste time. Well, one of the things that you said you do with your time is self-hypnosis and hypnosis. I want to talk about that for a second. I want to talk about hypnosis. What is hypnosis? How does it work? And then explain to us how you actually use it, because some people don't believe in hypnosis. Some people think it's dangerous. Some people think it's not real. And, we watched all these shows where someone was hypnotized and they did certain things. And, Hollywood would just take something that's so natural and it's something that's so eloquent and intentional and just make it look so bad. So talk to us, Victoria, about hypnosis.
Yeah. Well,
and I've watched it work with my children, hypnotherapy. well, I didn't give birth, the mom gave birth, but using hypnotherapy through that process was very
Oh
different
yeah, hypnobirthing.
because
Yeah.
hypnobirthing, because we had the midwives and things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So essentially hypnosis is communicating to your subconscious mind. So we have two parts of our mind. That's the basis of understanding hypnosis is really understanding this one concept, and that is you have your conscious mind that's aware right now of everything, and then you have your subconscious mind that's like below the surface, and it's everything that you're not aware of. It's subconscious. If you really just think, conscious, whatever you're conscious of, subconscious, everything you're not conscious of. And that's like most of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a subconscious that's, responsible for your heart beating, your whole autonomic nervous system, your emotions, your long-term memories. It doesn't forget anything. And it's our habits. And, when you learn to drive and you're very consciously aware of how to turn the steering wheel and how to, brake and use the gas and all of those things. But now you can drive and eat a sandwich and smoke a cigarette and talk on this cell phone and do all those things all at the same time. It's like, how does that happen? Well, because you have these programs, these automatic programs. So what hypnosis does really is it's a two-way communication system between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So it, just takes you just get yourself into a very relaxed state. And in this state, your brain waves go through, like right now they're in beta, and then they go down into alpha, and then they go down into theta, and then sleeping is delta. So they go in your brain always goes through all of these brainwave states throughout the day. So we're just intentionally putting you into the brainwave state where your subconscious mind is open and receptive to receiving these new suggestions to plant the seeds into the core of your programming. And then, after you have been reprogrammed, you will start to automatically do the new things, think in the new ways, take the new actions, behave in the new ways, in order to produce the results, so like for weight loss or for smoking or for, stress management or to manifest things. It just takes, and ultimately, reprograms your behaviors and your beliefs and gets you being the person that you were designed to be. And so that's essentially like what it is. And how it works is, it just simply, you just, allow yourself to relax. You want to, you want to have about a good 30 days of listening to your, I usually, help people with recordings. So you want to take about 30 days to allow those changes to take place, because you've been living with a lot of these beliefs for your whole life. I mean, you got programmed when you were at a very, very young age, before you were even
in utero. Yeah.
Yeah. Even then,
Yes.
and all the way up until you're, between 6 and 9 years old, you are all subconscious, no conscious, logic, rationale, no ability to say no, no ability to filter out any of the information that's coming in. So however you're listening to your teachers, your friends, your family, talk about things, whether it's money, relationships, health, whatever it is, it's just going right in. And so now with hypnosis, you have the ability to have that same effect, only in the way that you want it to work, rather than, getting negatively programmed.
Now, is everybody able to be hypnotized? Because I was reading somewhere, it says there are 3 types of people who are unhypnotizable. First, someone who's drunk. Second, someone who's high on drugs. Now, I don't really know what the third one is. Is there some truth to that?
Yeah, you do have to have the ability to at least focus and
For someone who's high, someone who's drunk, it will be somewhat challenging to hypnotize them.
It would be. And honestly, somebody with a very low IQ also has a very, difficult time.
Now, do you need to be in a physical space with them, in the same space with the person?
No.
So you don't have to be in the same space with the person. And then how does one self-hypnotize? How does that work? Is that any different from when you're hypnotizing someone else?
Actually, no. As a matter of fact, so all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So when a hypnotist is with you, or on Zoom or in a recording, you are simply taking the suggestions and allowing them to happen. But you can hypnotize yourself. You just have to have the right words. And like I'm now going to relax, the top of my head and focus on the top of my head and allow it to relax. I'm now going to cause the muscles in my eyelids to relax so deeply that even if I wanted to open them, they will not open, and just go through the whole body and create the physical relaxation. And then I'll now count backward from 10 down to 1. And, there's just different methods, but you just simply talk yourself through it. Most of the time, and this is one of the reasons why I became a hypnotist. I mean, the long story short was that I was creating my own, recordings for myself, because the books that I was reading, things that I was working on would say, okay, do this, do this meditation. And then the script was there. And so I'm like, well, how am I supposed to remember all that? So, ordinary people would just maybe make a little recording on their phone, or back then they didn't have phones, but a little, tape recorder. Well, my boyfriend at the time had a beautiful recording studio like yours. And so I'm like, hey, can I borrow your studio, or can you, can you help me out with this? Because I just like a little bit of a perfectionist. And I'm like, yeah, can you help me, make this? So I made my first one for myself, just taking, doing this book. And I'm like, God, this sounds really good. And, I let other people listen to it. And then, and then I said, what if I made more recordings like that and just created a website? And that was like sort of how the whole idea and the whole concept came up for me to become a hypnotist. So not knowing 100% whether I was doing the right thing or had the right wording, or, that I would have the right wording, I decided to, look up like some kind of a class or some kind of school that I could take to make sure that I was saying the right things. And so I came across a hypnotherapy school, and that was the end.
So
of the
one
story.
would go to a hypnotherapy school to learn how to become a hypnotist.
They would. Mm-hmm.
And now, how long is a course like that?
It's surprisingly not that long. It was 75 hours to get the first initial certification. And so however they spread that out, and some schools are 100 hours, but just to get the hypnotist, because there's a difference between being a hypnotist and a hypnotherapist. The hypnotherapy work, can do a lot of other things like the regressions, and it's more like the two-way communication, doing like sort of therapy under hypnosis, essentially. Hypnotists can do things like more just programming you for success, like weight loss and smoking and stress relief, and inserting suggestions in. But you can do a lot more deeper processes with the hypnotherapy. So it's a 75-hour class for the hypnosis, and then there was another 75-hour class for the hypnotherapy, and then to get board certified, there was another 50 hours that you had to do. And during the class, these were live one-on-one sessions, so we would actually practice on each other.
On each other, I figured you
on
would.
each other, yeah.
Okay. Well, you have a ton of information, and you have an amazing website and book. Let my listeners know how they can pick up copies of your book, and if they want to work with you. You have a ton of content virtually. Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things. I have everything culminated on my Victoria M. Gallagher website. There you'll be able to find my books, my courses, my HypnoCloud app, which is actually becoming a new app, but I haven't revealed the name just yet. And so and they'll be able to find out how to do one-on-one coaching sessions with me, my individual hypnosis sessions. All of it is all right there on Victoria M. Gallagher.
Well, congrats on the new app. Congrats on everything. This is Super Bomb questions. I'm going to ask you a variety of questions. I just need you to respond to them as quickly as possible. You ready?
Sure, I'll do my best.
All right, here we go.
I know I'm a little long-winded.
No, you're good. You're good. What's your favorite word?
My favorite word is inspiration.
What's your favorite quote or verse to a song or a Bible or spiritual verse?
My favorite quote is I don't have it memorized. It is hang on. Until one is committed, there is always hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too.
What's your superpower?
I am super disciplined.
What's your spirit animal?
Cats.
What moves you to tears of joy?
The movie The Greatest Showman.
What moves you to tears of sorrow?
Seeing, people being abused.
What do you wish you had more time to do?
Spa days.
What is the book or books you given most as a gift and why?
Mine, and because I believe in my practical law of attraction book, just because I believe in the power to help to change people's lives.
What advice are you glad you ignored?
Oh, to get a job.
If you won the Mrs. America talent competition, what would your talent be?
Singing.
What's your favorite sound?
Music.
Thank you, Victoria M. Gallagher. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, talking about hypnotherapy, talking about the law of attraction. Please go out and follow her, everything that she's doing. She is touching gold and making us go after the gold as well. So I thank you for hanging out with me today. Victoria, thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been my pleasure. And yeah, you're an amazing host. So thank you so much.
I thank you. And I thank Supremacy for our theme music and my amazing producers and all of you for listening. I can't do this without you. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, stop being stingy, go share me with everybody because we're on every platform. Leave a comment if you like anything that Victoria said, which I'm sure you did because you want to manifest all of your dreams. Go and support her. And again, as always, believe that something wonderful is about to happen, but some people miss the message because they're too busy looking for the mess, but not you because you are always listening to Sound Bombing. Peace.